Rose and Ken have broken up once again. I will reveal the source in a minute. But before I do, I wanted to share a couple things. Now, if you look at this, you see that Ken has removed all pictures of Gypsy. Yet, he still has Gypsy as his profile picture. Gypsy Rose has recently deactivated all of her social media accounts except for Facebook, where she is a new Facebook mom joining groups, but that's another video, a video you'll want to see. I do know that Gypsy Rose was really upset with Ken on the live. He made a couple of comments that later she debunked in a private message to a creator. Comments like, oh, the faux stained glass was put on the windows because Gypsy walked around in the house and they didn't want anybody to see. This is what we've always said. And he pretty much confirmed it. But GRB said no, this was because CPS visited. CPS did visit, that's true. However, they visited when she was an adult, and it pretty much went like, okay, you're an adult, why are we here? Okay, bye. Oh, the source. Here's the source, y'all. You know, you guys, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if they're broken up because they will get back together in a couple weeks. Anyway, stay tuned for my video on GRB joining Facebook mom groups, because it seems like one, GRB is not being completely honest with us, or two, she's continuing the CON.
Okay, listen up, because the Gypsy Rose internet mystery just cracked wide open, and what's spilling out is juicier than a leaked group chat at 3 a.m. One day she's out here on Facebook, playing momfluencer and selling baby onesies like she's the face of peaceful domestic life, and the next? Boom. Vanished. Social scrubbed, silence across the board, and baby, when I say gone, I mean gone. Not a single story, no explanation, not even a taking a break post. Just digital smoke where a whole personality used to be. And as if that wasn't suspicious enough, guess who also went full ghost mode? Her man, Ken. One minute he's Mr. Happy Family, and the next he's wiping his entire Instagram clean like he's in witness protection. Every video, every cozy post with Gypsy and their baby Aurora? Deleted without warning. He left behind this one weirdly sterile profile pic of Gypsy, and it honestly felt more like a placeholder for damage control than anything romantic. Fans didn't miss a beat, TikTok comment sections turned into true crime forums overnight. Everyone was asking the same question, what the hell is going on behind closed doors? Now here's where things get messy, like scandal-level messy. Multiple creators, all claiming inside info, started saying CPS might have swooped in. Yep, you heard right. Allegedly, Child Protective Services had concerns about how Gypsy and Ken were parenting, and word is they were forced to go dark on social media or risk losing custody of Aurora. And that timeline? Oh, it lines up a little too well. Gypsy's usually glued to her TikTok and IG, but now it's all eerily quiet. No updates, no baby spam, no sponsored content. Just straight up radio silence. But wait, Ken clearly didn't get the memo to lay low, because instead of disappearing quietly, he started acting out. Going live, throwing shade, talking in riddles. He posted just enough to stir the pot, and let's just say it worked. People were glued. And then, during one of his more chaotic live streams, he dropped a bizarre bomb. He casually mentioned that back when Gypsy lived with her mom, they blocked out the windows in their room so no one could see her walking around. Sounds small, right? But that little detail totally contradicts the version Gypsy's been telling for years. In fact, that's the kind of discrepancy that makes people start digging, and dig they did. Because shortly after, Gypsy broke her silence, not in a live, but in a fired-up DM to a creator. She wasn't just clarifying, she was shutting it down. She said the real reason those windows were covered had to do with her mom panicking after a CPS visit, not the whole hiding Gypsy thing Ken was suggesting. And she was clearly heated. She called out people like Ken and Christy, basically saying they're speaking on things they don't know anything about and dragging her name for clout. Then she pulled her own book into the chaos, saying it had a bunch of errors and wasn't even written by her directly. Like, what? A whole book supposedly telling her life story, and now she's saying it's inaccurate too? It's like every version of Gypsy's truth is unraveling in real time. Fans are confused, creators are eating it up, and honestly, The cracks in her public image are turning into gaping holes. People who used to stan her are now starting to question everything, from her relationship to her parenting to her entire narrative. Meanwhile, while all of this is unfolding, Gypsy's barely clinging to what's left of her digital life. Only her Facebook and old Twitter/X account are still up, and even those feel like ghost towns. No engagement, no vibe, no energy. It's like the whole world she built since getting out just collapsed overnight, and now everyone's watching to see what'll come crawling out of the rubble next. After Gypsy's sudden social media vanishing act, people thought maybe she was regrouping, maybe trying to keep her daughter safe, maybe even taking that CPS warning seriously. But it wasn't just about hiding, it looked like she was retreating. Quietly. Desperately. Like someone trying to outrun a storm she helped create. Turns out, before the silence, she'd been offloading everything she could, clothes from her life after lockup days, baby items, leftover much merch that didn't quite sell. But let's be real, this wasn't some cute little side hustle. It felt desperate. Like she was pawning off the scraps of her old fame just to keep things afloat. There was no marketing, no brand polish, no mompreneur vibes. It screamed survival mode. Gone were the days of sponsored content, glossy interviews, or Netflix producers knocking on the door. And if things weren't already slipping fast, here comes the public with the final push, because a petition started gaining serious traction. Not just a petty Reddit thread or a TikTok rant, an actual, verified, growing petition to get Gypsy blacklisted from all future media projects. It wasn't just a few trolls either. Thousands of people were signing weekly, demanding that networks, publishers, and producers cut ties with her completely.
Can have broken up once again. I will reveal the source in a minute. But before I do, I wanted to share a couple things. Now, if you look at this, you see that Ken has removed all pictures of Gypsy. Yet, he still has Gypsy as his profile picture.
What's going on Kenny Boy's Instagram page? I hear he's deleting all of the posts that include Gypsy Rose. Is there trouble in paradise? Has the financial hard times that Gypsy's going through finally led to her boy toy Ken up and leaving? We all know that's why he was there to begin with. He wanted the clout and he wanted the money. Well, now that those are gone, is he gone too? Go look at his Instagram. Everything with Gypsy's gone. What's going on?
His Instagram and
because Gypsy walked around in the house and they didn't want anybody to see. This is what we've always said. And he pretty much confirmed it. But GRB said no. This was because CPS visited. CPS did visit, that's true. However, they visited when she was an adult. And it pretty much went like, okay, you're an adult. Why are we here? Okay, bye. Oh, the source. Here's the source, y'all. You know, you guys, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if they're broken up because they will get back together in a couple weeks. Anyway, stay tuned for my video on GRB joining Facebook mom groups, because it seems like one, GRB is not being completely honest with us, or two, she's continuing the CON.
That kind of movement doesn't just bruise your ego, it can erase your career. As her name started sinking in public favor, nobody from her camp seemed able, or willing, to stop it. And Ken. Oh honey, Ken started acting real off. From the jump, he never looked comfortable in the spotlight. Whether it was live streams, red carpet moments, or podcast interviews, he always gave "I'd rather be anywhere else" energy. And now, people were starting to wonder, was he ever really in this out of love? Some even speculated he'd signed an NDA, yep, a non-disclosure agreement, that kept him around longer than he wanted to be. At one point, Gypsy herself hinted at it, and ever since, folks have been side-eyeing every move he makes. With Gypsy's clout tanking and the money likely drying up, people began whispering the big question, what's in it for Ken now? Because when Gypsy was the a girl of post-prison drama, with all eyes on her, Ken was along for the ride. Deals, fame, a built-in fan base? Not a bad gig. But now? She's persona non grata, and his sudden IG cleanse, wiping every trace of her and the baby, didn't look like emotional heartbreak. It looked like strategy. Like he was cutting ties to protect himself, maybe even prepping for an exit. Or, maybe, just maybe, it was all part of their ongoing pattern. We've seen it before, their ups and downs, the online splits and reconciliations. Some people are starting to think this is just another carefully curated storm. Because if there's one thing Gypsy and Ken know how to do, it's keep people watching, even if it's a complete train wreck. But then things took a seriously dark turn. Ken went live again, but this time it wasn't just cryptic comments or veiled shade. No. This time, viewers watched in shock as he appeared to be using substances on camera. And the kicker? Gypsy and baby Aurora were allegedly right there in the room. That wasn't just messy, it was dangerous. The internet exploded. Comment sections turned into war zones. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everyone was demanding answers, demanding action. Viewers didn't just want an apology. They wanted authorities to step in. And apparently, CPS was already on it. According to circulating rumors, Gypsy was given a direct warning: shut down the social media, stop posting the baby, or risk losing her. And like clockwork, she vanished. TikTok? Deleted. Instagram? Erased. No stories, no farewell, no nothing. But if Gypsy was retreating, Ken was doubling down. Instead of going quiet, he kept going louder. He continued to go live, overshare private info, stir drama like it was his full-time job. At a time when people expected accountability, he gave chaos. It didn't look like he was trying to fix things. It looked like he was playing with fire. And that's when the internet really turned. What started as, "Oh no," another Gypsy scandal, quickly became, "This child might actually be in danger." And just when it felt like things couldn't get any worse, Ken went after someone else, Christy. Out of nowhere, he launched into a new wave of online attacks, throwing accusations, stirring new drama, and dragging someone who had previously been a part of Gypsy's support system into the middle of it. Ken's live again, already a risky move given everything boiling under the surface, and out of nowhere, he goes off on Christy, not privately. Not subtly. But right there in front of everyone watching. And the timing? Brutal. Because here's what the internet already knew: Christy was reeling. She had just been rocked by a leaked batch of prison emails that exposed a whole different side of Gypsy. These weren't cute or flattering. They showed Gypsy and her dad Rod allegedly scheming behind Christy's back. The emails painted Gypsy as cold, calculated, and totally dismissive toward the one person who had stood by her longer than almost anyone else. Fans were shook. Christy was blindsided. And instead of offering support, Ken took a public swing and made everything 10 times worse. The backlash was instant.
Gypsy and Ken have broken up once again. I will reveal the source in a minute. But before I do, I wanted to share a couple things. Now, if you look at this, you see that Ken has removed all pictures of Gypsy. Yet, he still has Gypsy as his profile picture. Gypsy Rose has recently deactivated all of her social media accounts except for Facebook, where she is a new Facebook mom joining groups, but that's another video, a video you'll want to see. I do know that Gypsy Rose was really upset with Ken on the live. He made a couple of comments that later she debunked in a private message to a creator. Comments like, "Oh, the faux stained glass was put on the windows because Gypsy walked around in the house and they didn't want anybody to see. This is what we've always said." And he pretty much confirmed it. But GRB said no, this was because CPS visited. CPS did visit, that's true. However, they visited when she was an adult, and it pretty much went like, "Okay, you're an adult, why are we here? Okay, bye." Oh, the source. Here's the source, y'all. You know, you guys, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if they're broken up because they will get back together in a couple weeks. Anyway, stay tuned for my video on GRB joining Facebook mom groups, because it seems like one, GRB is not being completely honest with us, or two, she's continuing the CON.
People couldn't believe Ken had chosen that moment to humiliate Christy, especially after everything she'd done for Gypsy. And the pressure? It landed right back on Gypsy's shoulders. Already deep in damage control mode, she had no choice but to step in. She didn't show her face, but her voice came through on the same stream, clearly tense, as she tried to smooth things over. She apologized on Ken's behalf, but let's be honest, it felt more like a panicked cleanup job than a sincere olive branch. The vibe was clear, this wasn't about mending relationships. It was about minimizing fallout. And for viewers tuning in, it was impossible to ignore that the foundation of this whole messy circle was crumbling in real time. So now, the theories are flying fast and wild. Here are the 3 big ones that everyone's whispering about. First theory, they actually broke up. According to this camp, CPS got involved, tensions exploded, and between the pressure, public scrutiny, and betrayal via those leaked emails, Ken finally reached his limit. Some fans say the writing's been on the wall for weeks, that this relationship had been fraying long before CPS stepped in, and this was just the final push. If true, his social media wipe wasn't a stunt. It was a soft launch to singlehood. Second theory, it's all just another PR stunt. Let's be real, Gypsy and Ken have never been shy about using chaos to spark buzz. So when Ken deleted all of Gypsy's photos, but still kept his profile pic with her, plus that random shot with her dad Rod? Yeah, people clocked that. It doesn't scream heartbreak as much as it screams carefully staged tension. It's got manufactured drama written all over it. After all, this isn't their first internet scandal. Fans are starting to think it's just another play from their drama-fueled handbook. And this one? Honestly? Might be the most legit. Sources say CPS didn't just suggest that Gypsy toned down her online presence, they may have given explicit instructions as part of an active investigation. That would mean no baby pics, no family updates, no lives with the baby crying in the background. Total digital blackout. And if that's true, Ken's IG purge wasn't about love lost, it was about compliance. Maybe they didn't want to risk losing custody altogether. Whatever the real reason is, one thing's for sure, this wasn't random. Ken didn't just delete a few posts on a whim. He knew people would notice. He wanted them to speculate. And oh, did they? The whole internet lit up like it was the season finale of a reality show we didn't even know we were watching. And whether this was a breakup, a calculated scandal, or a legal move to protect their child, it was done with intention. So now we're left to ask, is this the end of Gypsy and Ken as we know them? Are they actually split up and spiraling? Or is this just the latest stunt in a long line of mess meant to keep their names trending? And hey, is CPS really behind the silence, or is this just Gypsy pulling the strings once again? Let us know in the comments what you think. Are you team it's over? Team it's a stunt? Or team CPS is calling the shots? Either way, buckle up, because something tells us this story is far from over. And if you don't want to miss what happens next, and trust us, more twists are coming, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We've got our eyes on every single update. This drama is just getting started.